What's going on, guys? WingsOfEnd here and welcome back to another video. And today, guys, I'm gonna be showing you how to make a working football minigame in Minecraft Bedrock edition that you can play with your friends. Of course, you can have this on a much larger scale and have two teams with your friends and see who is going to win. And I think it's going to be obvious, but this is not the American version of the football. I guess for them this is soccer. But if you guys are excited for this video and for this minigame, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe if you're new. And without further ado, let's get right into today's video. Yes, you can actually play this minigame using a little dog as the actual ball. You can actually use a cat as well, but the dog just looks a little bit better because it's a little bit bigger and it's gonna be a lot easier to see if you're doing this on a larger scale. Of course, you can see that the floor is a little bit slippier and you may see a couple of the actual blue particles because underneath this carpet we basically have a ton of the blue ice. I'm using the blue ice over here because it's the most the slipperiest one over here. You can see it right there exposed. We're basically using a little bit of the green to indicate for the grass, and of course they have a lot of the white lines over here, and we have a couple of the flags over here, so I think it looks really nice. Of course, this is not really the largest scale. If you actually want to play with your friends and you want to have like maybe 5 people in one team, I would definitely suggest to have a little bit of a bigger terrain to actually play in, because this is going to get crowded really fast. You can see over here we are of course going to start in the center, and of course because we are actually using the ice, we are going to make the dog actually sit so it's not going to move on its own. And basically you can't really use any blocks over here because you can't actually move them with your feet, and of course any other mob is just going to move on their own, so dog or the cat are your best choices, and in my opinion the dog is going to be the best because it's a little bit bigger. But basically you can see if we kinda nudge him, because we have the ice, he is actually going to slide few of the blocks. You can definitely have this really interesting if you are playing with your friends. Alone it's kinda boring because I don't really know what to do except just kinda push it around. You can see if you actually kinda sprint at the dog, he can go up to 4 blocks. If you just kinda push him over here slowly, he can go up to 3 blocks. But basically the goal of this is of course to push it in the enemy's goal behind this little white line, and that's going to mean that you actually score the goal. Of course, if you're playing with your friend that actually has this dog, you can just kind of make him stand up and bring him over here to the goalie or something like that. You can see this is really basic and a really simple minigame to make. We just use a lot of the ice and basically using some carpet to actually make the little terrain. And of course we have a couple of the goals over here, so it's really simple. I'm going to show you how to make it right now. I'm not actually gonna be building this block by block, I'm just gonna be explaining the actual concept and how to actually make this, and you guys can add all of the details if you want. You can see we have a couple of the flags over here, and I would definitely suggest to make the actual terrain a little bit bigger. But the concept for this is really simple. Basically what we want to do is use a lot of the blue ice. If you actually can grab the blue ice, just use the packed version. But in this case I think the blue ice is going to work the best because it's the slipperiest one. So basically what you want to do is have a large platform over here depending on how many people are actually going to be playing the actual game, and I would suggest you to basically go for the uneven number. So basically go for the odd number because it's going to be a lot better if you actually have a 3 block gap between the actual goal instead of the 2 over here, and 4 is going to be really big. So basically the 3 blocks of the actual goal over here is kind of the sweet spot. So basically once you actually fill your area with the blue ice or any other kind of the ice that you're using, again the blue ice is going to be a lot better if you actually go with it. What you want to do is basically decide where you want to have your goal. So basically it's the best again to actually have this 3 block gap over here, and basically just go ahead and make the little gap over here 2 blocks high just as a player, and that's going to give it an amazing look. And any bigger than this, any smaller than this is actually not going to look that great. I'm just gonna be doing this over here on a lot smaller scale, just to kinda give you guys an idea. But this is one goal over here. Obviously if you are playing football we're going to need another one, and of course you want to place it in the exact same spot on the other side over here, making sure that you have that 3 block gap. We're basically going to bring it over here and finish our little goal. Of course over here you can use iron bars to basically act like a little net. I saw a lot of people using cobwebs, but if you are actually playing this with a dog, your dog is going to get stuck in the cobwebs and it's going to be impossible to actually get him out unless you actually break the cobwebs. So I think the actual iron bars are a lot of a better choice. Basically once you have something like this, again obviously you're going to have it on a lot larger scale. You want to decide where you're actually going to have like the grass area, Of course, kinda out the actual outline for the actual playground over here, so people know if they actually cross this line, it's gonna be the actual dog for the dog that we are actually using for the ball is going to be for the other team. So basically what you want to do is pretty much cover the whole little area over here with the grass, aka the green carpet, and after that we can basically outline the actual playground where we can actually go and where the actual terrain is going to end. After you add your grass, what you want to do is mainly go to the middle and basically have a little line over here. For the grass I'm using the actual lime carpet. Of course you can use the dark green if you want, it doesn't really matter. I just think that this one looks a little bit better. But basically depending on the scale you're going to need a lot more carpet for the actual grass and stuff. But basically the white carpet is going to be used to kind of outline the actual area that people can actually play in. If they cross the actual white line on the sides over here, the enemy is basically going to get the ball. So basically we want to pretty much outline the actual area over here, and of course since this is really not up to the actual scale, it's gonna be a little bit harder. You can see it kinda ends up like a little H over here. Of course you're going to need a little area for the goalie over here. Of course we're going to have a little line that the dog actually needs to cross in order for the one team to actually get the point. And of course you can see in the larger scale we are going to have a little bit of the area for the actual goalie over here to basically have a little bit of the free space. And you can basically decide the actual rules. You can go for the original rules for the actual soccer/football, but basically you want to end up with something like this. Over here it kind of looks like a square, but you actually want to have this a lot longer if you're going to play with a larger group of friends. But this is basically the concept. You want to have a lot of the blue eyes if you actually can. Or as I said, you can use packed ice, but if you actually have a lot of your friends interested in this minigame and you actually want to play it on a larger scale, I would highly recommend that you guys put your strengths together and gather as much of the blue ice as you can, because on the large scale it's going to make the game a lot more fun. It's definitely going to be worth it. Even getting just one block of the push for the dog is definitely going to make a huge difference in the actual gameplay of the minigame. And of course over here you are going to want some iron bars, because the cobwebs are just going to cause a lot of the problems, because we are actually playing the minigame and this is not just for the looks. If you just want to have this little terrain for the actual looks, I would recommend the actual cobwebs, but if you want to play it, go for the iron bars. And of course you're going to need the green carpet over here. I'm using the lime carpet. You can use the dark one as well, but basically we're using lime carpet for the actual grass, and we are outlining the actual terrain where we can actually play with the white one, and that's pretty much all there is for this minigame. Again, you guys can use either a cat or the actual little dog over here. Again, I would recommend the dog because it's a lot bigger and it's a little bit easier to see. And of course, if you want to use like a chicken or something, they have the mind of their own because you can't actually make them sit. So they're just going to move randomly, and that's something that you definitely don't want in this type of the game. You want to have a little ball, and the best we can do is the actual dog. I know it's not really that great because we're just kind of pushing him with our feet, because if you actually push him, he's wagging his tail. That means he's really happy and that he actually enjoys this. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe if you're new. If you think any of your friends would enjoy this type of content, make sure to share with them. But as always, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.